Hey friends, I'm gonna flip this thing around. We are going live right now from kitchen slash living room. Let me get my phone on the mount, and then we'll get this all set up and ready to go for today's flow. No props necessary, unless you want to maybe use a mala or some sort of meditation um, tool to help you. I'm gonna have my mala with me. We're gonna have a little seated meditation at the end, so like an extra long shavasana if you want it, or maybe some time to work through some meditation, okay? All right, my friends, as I get this thing set up so you can see me. Make sure this thing's gonna work. I hope you guys are doing well today. Um, I'm going to talk to you about what's on the whiteboard over here in terms of a playlist in just a moment, but feel free to grab a mala if you've got one and you want to meditate. Um, if not, it's all good. I I make malas under the small maker on Instagram, so if you want to get a mala, you can. But you don't have to have one to meditate, and we're going to work through that. Well, it looks like the live thing is not coming up, so grab your mat, grab some water. While I try to figure this thing out. All right, we're gonna get started in about a minute or so here. For some reason, it doesn't look like it's updating this live stream through the Black Swan Yoga website. So if you're watching this through YouTube, woohoo, um, it'll be up there. So the message I want to talk about today is many plants still thrive in the harshest conditions. Um, So it's going to be kind of the theme of today. And if you can't tell from my terrible drawing, I'm not a great artist. Um, I drew a little flower inside of a heart because we're going to work on letting that flower thrive. Um, Even in the weirdest, harshest conditions that we possibly push through in life, we can work through that to help ourselves thrive, especially internally. Yeah, that's good. That's what the theme is today. And then the music today, I have Apple Music, so I'm at Yogi DLT, same as my Instagram handle on Apple Music, and it's Yoga BSY 29 is the playlist I'm recommending for today. But you can follow along with any playlist you want. Um, it's up to you. All right, my yoga friends, let's get started here. And just about the comment about that plants thrive in even the harshest conditions. Um, I want to point out that this is not gaslighting any harsh conditions that we go through. This is just to say that we can continue to work on letting ourselves thrive and letting ourselves bloom that flower within our heart. Um, but not dismissing any trauma, any negativity that we're feeling. That's totally valid. Um, and no one else can understand exactly what you are going through. So I get that. I'm not gaslighting anything that you've gone through or going through at all. So, that being said, bring whatever you're bringing onto the mat, trauma, hurt, negativity, positivity, excitement, anxiety. Everything is welcome on the mat today. Everything. Um, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling high, if you're feeling, worried and stressed, all those things are welcome on your mat because this mat, this time is your time. It is for you. And anything I say is just a guide and it's coming from my perspective, but I am trying to offer it hopefully in a way that you can internalize and help get through whatever you need to get through. Um, so now that I've done my little spiel about like I want everybody to feel safe and comfortable in the space on the mat, and I want to create that safe positive space. Not positive, that's the wrong word. I mean, I don't want to be negative to you, but I want you to feel like you don't always have to be perfectly happy, like rainbows and sunshine all the time. It's okay to go through whatever you're going through and bring it onto the mat. This is that safe space where you get to process, that you get to work on maybe a little fraction of healing, that you get to work on maybe just taking a slower, deeper breath is it, but that can be extremely helpful just to slow down the breath. It really feeds back into our central nervous system and lets us know that we are okay. We are safe in this moment on the mat. Even if it's just for a little while, we know that this is our haven, our safe space. So, that being said, please be kind to yourself. If anything doesn't feel good, skip it. We don't like pain. Pain is bad in yoga. Discomfort is another thing. If you're feeling discomfort, maybe instead of running away from it and turning away from it, you take a moment to stay there and breathe calmly and try to reflect on why might this pose be extremely discomforting to me? Like, why am I uncomfortable? Why am I feeling anxious and wanting to leave this pose so quickly? Is it that I'm feeling pain? No? Okay. Well, maybe this pose is stretching an area that doesn't get stretched very often, a muscle group or a fascia. Um, and those are all the things that I think are the most powerful parts of yoga is taking that moment to pause when you do face discomfort and say, huh, where am I feeling this? And maybe I can figure out why. Maybe I can't. It's all good. I'm just going to breathe as calmly as I can through it. Because then we can take that into our everyday life and yeah, all right, I'm done with my spiel. Let's get started. We're starting in a child's pose today. I'm going to take off my mala. So if you have a mala and you want to meditate at the end with me, grab it. If you don't, it's okay. We're still going to meditate. You just don't have to have a mala. Um, but that little guy can stay off the side because it can be kind of like dangly or noisy or whatever during practice, unless you want to wrap it around your wrist. Child's pose is where we start. Toes together. Now, your booty and heels don't have to touch at all. Your booty could be way up in the air. More important is I want your forehead to touch the mat. Now, a choice of the knees, knees together or knees towards the edge of your mat. Knees together provides support and stretch along the low back. Knees apart provide a stretch in the inner thighs and a little bit into the hips. Which one do you need today? Fold it down, rest that forehead down to the mat, and just let it go. Maybe let go a big sigh as you take a breath in. On that exhale, open up your mouth. Let that sigh go. Settling in. Now, if you need to adjust, don't feel bad. You can try both sides, try types of poses, knees together and knees apart, and see which one works for you this morning. But once you find that posture that you're ready to occupy for a period of time, begin to grow steady and still here. Start to take even more powerful rounds of breath in. And maybe you have the opportunity to open up your mouth, let go of a big sigh. Again, a full breath in, fill up. And a big audible sigh. If you feel ready to seal your lips and begin to breathe in and out through the nose, go for it. But if you'd rather just keep sighing out through the mouth, maybe you need to let some anxiety go. Maybe you need to let go of some tension or stress that you're hanging on to. Feel free to let go of a big sigh. Feel free to add a rock in your hips, left and right, or into the forehead, right? Add in movement and customize your practice for what you need. Now, if you're feeling kind of sleepy and low, you might want to seal your lips and breathe in and out through the nose because what you're doing is you're going to fire up some heat within your body, some tapas, discipline, heat, fire, whatever you want to interpret it as. And that's going to help kind of fuel you and give you some energy for your practice. So you choose, know what works for you, make it work. Be kind to yourself, though. Rule number one of yoga. Okay, maybe rule number one is like breathe, but be kind as up there. Now, yogis, on those exhales, can you sink those shoulders a little bit heavier? Now, sometimes I struggle to sink my shoulders a little bit heavier. So, what I like to do is I like to tent up onto my fingertips. I like to dial my shoulders down my back on the inhale. And on the exhales, I soften everything back down. And I notice that my shoulders sink a little bit heavier. They relax a little bit more. And you can do that for a couple rounds of breath. Maybe on the inhale, you hover the arms, tent up onto those fingertips. Exhale, soften everything back down, including into the shoulders. Notice what you've brought onto the mat with you. Observe. Feel whatever emotions you're feeling. They're all valid. Just notice without labeling, without saying this is good, this is bad, this is normal, this is not normal. Let all those labels go and just be here, be present, and see what you brought with you. All right, yogis, when you're ready, start to tent up onto your fingertips. Gazing forward, lower the forearms back down just to the elbows, right? Keep your upper arms off the mat. We're going to pull ourselves forward onto our belly, Sphinx pose. So as we arrive on our bellies, untuck the toes, flatten yourself out onto the mat. Now, for a Sphinx pose, you want your elbows right underneath the shoulders, right? So your elbows aren't further out in front of you and they're not further back behind you. I see this pretty often, and oh my goodness, you're using so much of your back just to lift you up. Let the arms do the work. So stack those elbows right underneath the shoulders. Arms are parallel like a number 11 here. Palms facing down. And then if we really let our hands press a little bit firmer into the mat, we can work on dragging our belly button forward towards the top of the mat without actually moving our body. But can you feel that energy of your belly almost pulling towards the front of the mat? Nice. Now this has your nice proud heart, proud chest. Shoulders soften that much more. Exhale, drop your right ear over towards your right shoulder. You might feel a little snap, crackle, pop. Exhale, chin in towards chest. Left ear over towards left shoulder. Chin rolls in towards chest. Right ear, right shoulder. Good. One more time. Chin in towards chest. Left ear, left shoulder. Maybe you want the full rotation this time. Be nice to yourself. Maybe you don't. I like a little bit of left and right movement after, and then I find my center again. Notice what works for you. Now we're going to work on stretching our shoulders just to begin with a little bit. So let's walk our right fingertips up towards the top of the mat. Take the left arm, slide it through. Our left palm is facing up, and we're going to bring our left ear down to the earth. Now, can you soften that right hand and relax it down? Relax your left hand. Your fingers should be soft. And then you're going to relax your head down if it's not already there. Just breathe. Imagine on those exhales, you can sink that much heavier towards the earth. One more full breath in, yogis. Exhale, slide this right arm back underneath as we switch out the left arm. Now that tense up on the fingertips. Right arm slides underneath. Again, the right palm is still facing up. Soften the left and right hand down. Let the fingers relax. Let your right ear come to the earth. and just settle in. On those exhales, again, feeling yourself sink and soften into that right shoulder towards the earth. You might even start to notice how it feels with the earth supporting you, right? You're not just pressing down into the earth, but the earth is also pressing back up into you. So notice how that feels to be completely supported and held here. That balance, taking your time to breathe. One more full breath in, yogis. Exhale, unwind. Let's come back to our Sphinx pose. Our arms are parallel, our elbows underneath our shoulders. And then let's tuck our toes. We're going to start to hover the knees. So we're really engaging and squeezing into the quads as we start to press up into a forearm plank. So this is really going to wake us up and fire us up. So taking a steady breath in and a steady breath out. Now, from this forearm plank, I want you to imagine that your hip bones, these guys right here, are rolling in towards your low ribs. So you're like almost crunching them in together. Can you work on crunching those low hip bones or those hip bones to the low ribs? So work on really feeling your hips pulling in towards your low ribs. Feel that crunching action. Feel the engage of the core. Stay with it for 2 more patient rounds of breath in. One more full inhale and a full complete exhale. You guys stay for it. When you're ready, we're going to walk our toes in towards our elbows for a dolphin pose. Take a moment here, settle in, feel your hamstrings stretching. You can keep your knees as bent as you like. Maybe give your head a little shake, yes and no, because it should be not touching the earth too much. It should be light or maybe even lifted. And on the exhale, we're going to lower down to the knees. We're going to push back into a child's pose. From child's pose, come back to your breath. Notice maybe if something's starting to shift or change. Maybe if things are the same. Observe and notice without judgment. Take your time to breathe nice and steady and slow. Nice, yogis. When you're ready, start to pull yourself upright to a seat. We're going to tuck our toes, yogi toe stretch. This is a favorite of mine. I think it's so important to stretch out the fascia, that tissue in your feet. I think a lot of times when we are wearing shoes that aren't properly supporting our feet or just standing on our feet a lot, we're not actually stretching them. We're kind of counteracting that and they're tensing up. So, this is a really good stretch for our foot. Now, something to notice as well here is that we tend to hunch over when you do a task, maybe at the table or a desk or on your phone. Let's open up that heart space, open up along the collarbone by interlacing our hands to our low back, knuckles pull down, pinch those shoulders together and down the back. As you find this height through the crown of your head, find a nice proud heart shining forward towards the top of the mat. And then notice how you're breathing. I know that this yogi toe stretch is also called fire toes as a nickname. And that is because, well, it makes your feet feel like they're on fire from the fascia stretching. When fascia stretches, it tends to feel a little bit warm and release heat feeling. And that's okay. That's normal, but it's uncomfortable. And this is where that yoga really starts when we're uncomfortable. Take that deep breath in. Stay for that deep breath out. Maybe you think for the moment here, why am I always hunching over? What task am I doing? Maybe you're an artist and you're drawing. Maybe you're working for work and you're on a computer all day or on your phone. For me, I make jewelry, so I am always like hunching over to to tie knots in these malas and stuff like that. So I'm constantly hunching over too. So it's a really nice exercise to open up your heart strength and your shoulders as well and let them practice opening up. A little dramatic, but I think it helps to counteract. All right, last breath in. Exhale. Do me a favor, release your hands. We're going to stay here until we can stand all the way up from our tucked toes. So, can you come all the way up to stand? Use that core strength, a little bit of balance. If you fall out of it, it's okay. Use your hands, get back up. We're all good. We're meeting standing at the back of the mat. Inhale, sweep your arms up high. Exhale, cactus your heart open, big back bend. Inhale, swim your arms up high. Exhale, interlace your hands to your low back. Knuckles pull down, one big heart opener again. Maybe you start to tuck the tailbone a little bit more. Make this a little bit more dramatic so the gaze lifts up. Exhale, gently release this bind. Great. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our hands to our elbows and we're going to separate our feet about hip width distance apart. All right. So as we do this, add a generous bend into the knees. And we're going to we're going to let the right elbow lead the way down. So the right elbow is going to start to stretch over towards the right side of the room and then down towards our right toes. And then we're going to end up in this forward fold, grabbing for opposite elbows. Oh, hey, we're in a ragdoll. Nice. Knees are already bent, right? So we can sway a little bit left and right, bob up and down. But we got to finish this rotation. So we're going to let the left elbow start to lead the way over the left. And then let the right elbow lead you up to standing. So the elbows kind of direct you in which way you're going. So let's do that one more time to the right. Again, the right elbow goes to the right. Keep a generous bend into both knees. Find that forward fold, but we're immediately going to the left. So start to let that right elbow still lead the way pretty much all the way up to standing. Use your tailbone tucking, your glutes active, and your core strength here so you don't overextend into the low back. Let's switch out the direction, deep bend in our knees. This time the left elbow makes all the decisions. It leads the way. So left elbow down, find that forward fold, and then switch it out. We're going over to the right and then back up to standing. Ooh, let this feel really nice in your back and spine. I know mine really needs this. Drop it on back down. And then when you're ready, come back up to stand. All right, yogis, when you're ready, we're going to fold all the way down, forward fold. Grab for opposite elbows, or maybe you grab for the backs of your calves. You could take peace fingers to big toes. You could take Padahastasana, sliding your hands underneath your feet, hands to feet pose, right? So your soles of your feet and your palms are connected. You choose what you need. I'm going to take a ragdoll. It's pretty early in our stretches here. So I'm just going to take a little sway left and right, maybe an interlacing of the hands behind the nape of your neck. And then just let yourself fold it on down. Good, yogis. When you're ready, release your fingers to your shins. Let's work on a halfway lift. Warm up the back. Inhale, scoop up the low belly. Shift the weight towards your toes slightly. Bend in those knees. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Let's try that again. Inhale, halfway lift. A little micro bend in the knees. Shift the weight towards your toes. Gazing straight down. Belly scoops up. Exhale, forward fold. Now, when I say belly scoops up, mine doesn't really go all the way up and in. You might see some yogis on Instagram. It's just more like activate your belly button. So really activate your core because that's a bandha, that's an energy lock. So when you start to pull everything in and pull that navel in towards your spine, it really does activate extra strength and stability. So let's try that again. Interlace our hands to our shins, halfway lift. Maybe this time you shift your fingers down towards the earth. Just fingertips barely touching, but try to keep that same quality. Exhale, forward fold. Why was that such a hard word? We're going to walk our hands to the top of a push-up. Okay, yogis, here we go. We are going to have a funky vinyasa today, and I'm going to lead you through it. So what you're going to do is hover the knees over the mat. Push your booty back towards your heels. And you're in an active child's pose. From this active child's pose, gaze forward. Push yourself forward. Top of a push-up once again. Exhale, lower halfway, chaturanga, up dog. Maybe you take a gaze over one shoulder and the other for the first round, warm up the neck and the spine. Exhale, roll over those toes, down dog. So let's work through that vinyasa one more time together to make sure we really got it because I'm going to offer that throughout the entire practice today. So inhale, roll yourself forward, top of a push-up. Good. Now bend your knees, push your booty back towards your heels. You're in an active child. Now I like to walk my hands a little bit shorter. For me, I need that. All right, when you're ready, push yourself forward, high plank pose. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, down dog. Good, good, good. You got it now. Take a steady inhale and a steady exhale. Beautiful yogi, sweep that right leg high, bend your knees, stack your hip. Option to flip over if you want a wild thing. Change up that perspective, right? So instead of saying, I'm surviving, maybe we start to work on thinking, how am I thriving? We'll meet back in a three-legged dog. Right toes flex down. Exhale, knee in towards nose, shift it forward. Inhale, kick it up. Knee over towards the right elbow or tricep. Inhale, kick it up. Knee over towards that left elbow. And then kick it out, fallen triangle. Left arm reaches high. Feel your whole body extend. But maybe you can hover that right leg, add that extra challenge in there if you want. Lower that left hand down, kick the right leg up. Nice. Knee in towards nose, step that foot forward and through. You're in a low lunge. Take a moment to move a little bit forwards and backwards. I like to stay tented up on my fingertips. Sometimes I like to move in circles with my hips or left and right a little bit. Ease into it. Take a steadier breath in, slow it on down. Good, yogis. From here, you're going to take your time to move to an easy twist. So that right arm goes high towards the sky. Now I'm tented up onto my left fingertip still, and that's where hopefully you are too. So if you're not tented up onto those left fingertips, start to hover that left hand. This is like one of the hardest ways to get into an easy twist. And then lower that left hand back down. Again, try to hover that left hand. If you don't fall, like me, I'm not looking and keeping a steady gaze, but it's all good. Lower that left hand down. Palm is flat this time. Let's stretch out the shoulder. So we're going to roll our hand towards the back left corner of our mat. So our hand is reaching back there like we just cut a baseball. Exhale, reach your arm forward, pinky down, thumb up like you're going to shake someone's hand. Exhale, place that right hand back down. Nice work, yogis. You're going to launch up, standing L, balance on this right foot. Take a steady inhale and the steadiest exhale. Another full inhale. Exhale, bring that left knee behind your right calf. Find a squat. Hold it here for a moment. Tent up on those fingertips. Start to slide this left knee all the way to the outside of that right heel until you're in a little seated twist. So our right foot is stepping across our left thigh, and we're going to reach our arms up high towards the sky. We're going to twist over towards the right. I like to take the left arm and give this right knee a big old hug, and then take that right hand tent up onto fingertips. Sit up nice and tall as I try to twist a little bit deeper from the core. So rather than just trying to twist into the spine, not good for our cervical spine or neck. Don't try to just turn your neck all the way. Try to sit up nice and tall, and then see if you can twist first in the belly, and then lead that twist throughout the entire rest of the spine. So not over twisting into the neck. Good, good, good work, yogis. Take a steadier inhale. Sit up a little bit taller. Exhale, unwind. Let's come back to a standing L. So maybe you wiggle this right foot a little bit further forward, but we're just going to move right back into it. Exhale, step it back, low lunge. Take that funky vinyasa as you step back to a plank pose. Push back, active child's. Push it forward, high plank. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Now remember, I'm going to say my spiel I say in every class I teach. Every vinyasa is optional, right? You don't have to do them. What feels good for you? Do you want to do the vinyasas? Do you not? Right? And I'm not talking to your ego here. I'm talking to what your body needs and what you need in this moment, right? Your ego might say, yes, I have to do all vinyasas, but you don't actually have to do all the vinyasas. Also, this is Zoe interrupting my class as usual. Sweet baby girl. Can you come over here and sit down? Yes, you don't have to be on my mat, ma'am. Oh, she's showing you how down dog is done, apparently. Three-legged, yeah. Oh, 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 there we go. All right, let's be back in our down dog. Take a full breath in. Let go of a big sigh, reset. Inhale, sweep the left leg high. Bend your knees, stack your hip. Maybe you flip it over. Maybe you just draw knee circles. Have some fun changing up that perspective. Think about something in your life you're grateful for that you feel like you're thriving with. Flex those left toes down. Exhale, draw knee in towards nose, shift it forward. Inhale, kick it up. Knee over towards that left elbow or tricep. Inhale, kick it up. Knee twist over towards the right elbow and then kick it out for fallen triangle. Now you can hover that left foot or let it rest down, but let your heart lift up. Maybe let your head fall back a little bit more. Exhale, lower that right hand down, kick your leg up high, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee in towards nose, step that foot forward and through. And tension up onto those fingertips, a little bit of forwards and backwards motion. Warm up into the hips, a little bit left and right, maybe some circles, maybe a dip of the hips and the knee low down. Kind of like an almost Anjaneyasana. Taking your time, maybe you straighten out a leg or two. It's up to you. For one more full inhale. And a full exhale. Let's reach our left arm high towards the sky. Now remember, we're tented up onto our right fingertips still. Good. Use your strength from your core to hover that right hand. Now try to find a focal point, something that's not moving in the room that you can focus on. Good. Exhale, lower that right hand back down. One more time. Hover that right hand. Feel your quad firing up. Feel your glute firing up. Exhale, lower that right hand down. And then let's go for that little shoulder stretch. Right hand is completely flat on the mat. Left hand reaches towards the back right corner, like you just caught a baseball. It's facing up. Good. Now maybe you're going to take that baseball and you're going to drop it at the top of the mat. Pinky faces down, thumb faces up. Exhale, lower that left hand down, launch up, standing L. Balance on that right leg. Ooh, standing L never felt so good as when it gets you off of that quad and glute strengthening. Take a full inhale and a full exhale. Shake your head, yes and no, let it relax. Beautiful work, yogis. When you're ready, tense up onto those fingertips and start to tap your right knee behind your left calf. Now, as you hold this here, take a steady inhale. On the exhale, start to slide that knee to the outside of the left heel. You know where we're going. Back into that twist for the opposite direction. This time we're twisting to the left. Sweep your arms up high. Right arm is so nice to hug this knee. Show yourself a lot of love. Give yourself a big old hug. And then tap on those back left fingertips. Now, if you're a person who likes to hug, these days, this is like the closest thing we get of a hug. So, hug yourself a lot more these days. Again, find that twist from the belly. So inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, twist from the belly. And then let that travel up the rest of the spine without over twisting into the neck. We don't care how far our gaze is back, really. We care about what's twisting all the way up the entire spine. Good. Sit up really tall on the inhale. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Nice, yogis. Unwind, face forward. Again, we're going to balance on that left foot. Maybe you need to shift it around a little bit. Standing L. Exhale, land it back, low lunge. Step that left foot back. Take a vinyasa or skip it. You can push back, active child's pose option. Shift it forward, high plank pose. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take your time to move and breathe like you. Maybe you pedal it out. Maybe you take a child's right now. Notice what you need and not what maybe your expectations were for this class. So if you want a child's pose, take it. If you want to go for a dolphin pose like we did in our forearms, walk your toes in. I'm just going to quickly mention that oftentimes we come into a class thinking like, I'm going to burn so many calories, or I'm going to show up to exercise, or I'm going to show up to become enlightened, or I'm going to show up to reach some inner peace or whatever it is. And you might not feel completely there at the end of a class because things can shift And also, it's not about extremes in yoga. It's about gentle shifts in perspective because over time, those small shifts lead to bigger changes. And so don't feel like you have to do every single pose in a class. I certainly don't do it. And I hope that maybe you can take that away with you too and know like you don't have to do every single pose. All right, that being said, if you're still in dolphin, well done you. If you're in child's, also well done you. We're going to meet back in down dog. If you're already there, well done you. We're all good. Everywhere you are is perfect. We're going to add on to that sequence a little bit more. So inhale, sweep your right leg high. Exhale, draw knee in towards nose, shift it forward. Inhale, kick it up. Knee over towards right elbow or tricep. Inhale, kick it up. One more time, knee in towards nose, flex your foot, step it through. Easy twist, reach that right arm high. Now from here, can you tent up onto your left fingertips? Can you start to hover the left hand off the earth? Good, can you rise all the way up to an open twist? If you want to exalt, that right arm drapes down, very lightweight. The left arm reaches high. You don't have to be here. If you want, though, we're going to move back to hover that left hand. Oh, yeah. Feel that glute firing up. Come back up. Open twist. Maybe you exalt. Maybe you don't. It's all good. Back to that hovering hand. Take one more full inhale. Exhale, lower your hands down. Frame your foot. Launch up, standing L, balance. Give your head a little shake, yes and no. Find those left toes flex down towards the earth. Find that level of your hips best you can. Maybe you take a hand to your left hip to make sure it truly is level. And then start to add a micro bend into this right knee. On the next inhale, we're going to gather our hands in towards our heart. And then we're going to start to lift slowly up into a warrior three. Yes, this is like the most difficult way to get into a warrior three. But this is where the yoga starts, is where we feel challenged, where we feel tired, where we feel uncomfortable. How calmly can we breathe and occupy this space? If you need to, let a big sigh go. Let some tension go. One more full inhale. Full exhale, land high crescent lunge. Sweep your arms up high towards the sky. Good. Cactus your heart open like we did earlier. Inhale, sweep your arms up high. Again, we're going to cactus our heart open, but we're going to hover the left knee as we do so. Good. Inhale, sweep your arms up high. Again, exhale, cactus your heart open, hover that knee. Inhale, back up high. Hands come into heart center. Prayer twist over to the right. Now I'm going to turn so you can see my right side. All right, so we're prayer twisting with that left elbow to the top of our right thigh, or maybe just kind of hooking outside of the thigh or the knee a little bit, but gentle, not to really put too much pressure on your knee. Now, from here, you can stay in your prayer twist, but if you want to work on an arm balance, I'm going to give you a side hurdle option here. So you're going to lower your hands down to the earth, and you're going to start to bend your elbows to like 90 degrees, so much so that your right thigh is now resting on the back of both triceps and elbows. And then you're going to eventually lift your feet off the earth. Now you can gaze out in front of you. That's what I recommend because I don't want to fall straight into the earth. And where you're looking is often where you're going, just like driving a car. So look where you want to go, look out further in front of you. So as you lean into this space, use your arms like a little shelf, and then simply point those toes, really activate those legs. Again, engage that navel, that lock there by really pulling everything in best you can engage. Feel that strength fire up, and then you've got it. It might not happen the first time you try it. It might not happen the 50th time you try it, but I promise one day, if you keep practicing, it does eventually happen, but it shouldn't even matter if it really happens. It should be like, how do I feel by the time I hit Shavasana every day in class? So to me, that's more what yoga really is. Wherever you're at, if you're still holding that prayer twist, here we go. One more full inhale. Exhale, unwind, come back up, high crescent lunge. Let me turn back to neutral. Here we go. Nice. Exhale, lower your hands down, frame your front foot. Straighten out your front right leg. So extended pyramid pose. I love this pose so much, but we're going to add on I like to stay tented up onto the fingertips. You might not. We're going to flex our toes, though, up towards the sky. So our right toes are flexed up towards the sky like we're pressing down a pedal. Notice how that changes the stretch. Whew. Give your head a little shake, yes and no. Remember to breathe. Awesome work, yogis. Lower your right toes back down. Walk your hands over, a nice wide-legged fold. Pigeon toe it a little bit, so toe slightly in, heel slightly out. You can walk your hands back behind you. You can take a chest expansion, interlacing your hands to your low back. You can take a twist, planting a palm beneath the face and reaching the other up towards the sky. You can lift your feet off the earth. This is your time to move how you want to move. I personally like to shorten my stance a little bit and just grab for opposite elbows. Ragdoll in a wide-legged fold is one of my favorites. How calmly can you breathe here? Inhale, anchor your fingers to the earth. Nice. Stay for the exhale. Fold a little bit deeper. Next, inhale, halfway lift. Walk your hands back around to frame that front right foot. Bend into your knee. You're in the low lunge. Move through that vinyasa that you want to take. You might take the funky one for today. Active child's. Push it forward. High plank. Lower. Up dog. To down dog. Take on what you would like to take, though. We will meet back in down dog at your own pace. Fill up for a full inhale. Stay for that exhale. Great work, yogis. When you're ready, sweep that left leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee in towards nose. Inhale, kick it up. Knee over towards left elbow or tricep. Inhale, kick it up. One more time, knee in towards nose. Flex that foot, step it through. Easy twist, start to peel that left arm up towards the sky as you tent up onto your right fingertips. Now can you hover that right hand? Great work. Lower it back down. Whew. Hover that right hand. Let's rise all the way up, that open twist. If you'd like to exalt, left arm drops down, right arm reaches high towards sky. And then if you want to hover that right hand once again, rise back up one more time, hover that right hand, lower that right hand down. Nice work. Start to take that left hand down towards the earth. Tent up onto your fingertips, standing L, balance on that left foot. Give your head that little shake, yes and no. Remind it to relax. Fold and bow it on down. Make sure your right toes are flexed down towards the earth, nice and active as if you were standing on that right foot right now. So just as active as this left foot is to balance on, your right foot should also be flexed and active and balanced. Now micro bend or bend generously into this left knee. Bring hands into heart center to prayer position. As you slowly use this glute to stand all the way up. Oh yeah. Glute is on fire. I know warrior 3 is where we're at. As we stand on that left leg, start to straighten it out. Now you can keep a bend in it as much as you want or straighten it out. Right toes still flex down towards the earth. Proud heart, proud chest. Stay with it for another calm breath in. Exhale, land, high crescent lunge. You're high on those back right toes. Heels lifted high. Exhale, cactus your heart open. Lift your gaze up. Inhale, arms reach high. Again, cactus your heart open, but dip your right knee this time. Inhale, sweep your arms up high. Exhale, cactus your heart open. Dip that back knee. Inhale, arms come up high. Hands into heart center. Prayer twist over to the left. So this time it's the right elbow. And then you can stay right here, or you can take this side hurdle, lowering your arms down, placing that left thigh to the back of your arms. And again, you want to gaze out pretty long in front of you. Try to keep your head away from the earth best you can and take that arm balance or stay in your twisted prayer. Whew. All right. 2 more rounds of breath in whatever shape you're occupying. Remember, it's just temporary. Last full inhale. Full exhale to rise all the way back up. Lower your hands down, frame your foot, straighten out that front left leg. And then when you're ready, flex those left toes up towards the sky. Whew. Maybe you lower flat to the palms or you stay tented up on the fingertips. Give your head a little shake, yes and no. And breathe into the back of those hamstrings. I know they're talking to you. They are talking to me too. Our right heel is still lifted. Our back right heel is still lifted because we're in a extended pyramid pose. Lower your left toes down as you're ready, and then turn a wide-legged fold. All right, I'm gonna turn the other way, just so my booty is not facing you. All right, so toes slightly in, heel slightly out, a little pigeon-toed. Again, another round of forward folds for about 3 to 4 rounds of breath here. What shapes do you want to take on? Give your head that little shake yes and no as you would like. Make sure that you are breathing. When you're ready, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're gonna pivot our heels in, toes out, add a bend into the knees. Hands come to your waist. Stand all the way, stand up to a goddess pose. I shouldn't say all the way up, that's misleading. That'd be like standing up. Stand up to goddess. So you're deeply bending into both knees. It's like a low sumo squat. Right? So our knees are out. Our knees are in line with our toes for the most part. And we're still a little bit lower. Good. Let's bring hands into heart center. And then let's maybe move a little bit left and right. When I'm uncomfortable in a pose, my favorite thing is just to like move and groove in it. So maybe you just take that time to like move and groove through the pose. Or maybe you just keep your hands at heart center and you're like, oh gosh, this is uncomfortable. I'm just going to breathe and maybe bounce a little bit. Bouncing works, or swaying, or staying still, whatever works for you. All right, take a steady inhale. Exhale, stand all the way up, star pose. Beautiful work, yogis. Bring your hands back down to the earth. Walk them around to frame that front right foot. Take your vinyasa, maybe step it back. High plank pose, active child's. Shoot it forward, high plank, lower halfway, up dog to down dog. Whew, that might be the first class I've taught in a while where I didn't skip every vinyasa, and all those vinyasas were stinking hard today. So you don't have to skip them every single time, but I usually skip quite a few every single time. All right, steady inhale. Big sigh out, let it go. Nice. Inhale, sweep your right leg high. Exhale, right knee behind right wrist. Kick the foot over to the left and hover the shin. Almost pigeon pose. Use your core strength. Pull that leg a little bit higher. Exhale, lower the whole shin down. Yeah, that almost pigeon pose is real tough. Make sure your left toes are straight back behind you. Make sure this right leg is parallel to the top of the mat. I learned that pose from Miss Lovely Kaylee Nelson. She's an awesome yoga teacher for Black Swan. And when I first did that, I was like, what the heck is she making us do? And now I hope that you probably think the same thoughts, because it is a weird pose and it is very challenging. But when you kind of get that natural reaction, I try to make myself think like, oh, why am I thinking this? Why is this uncomfortable for me? Why is this creating such an impulsive reaction? And then I try to make myself do it more. So if you notice I've been doing a lot in classes, it's because I still have a reaction to it where I still kind of go like, why the heck are we doing this? Even though I'm the one teaching the class and making myself do it. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. All right, from your half pigeon, hopefully you're folded forward or you're taking your mer creature pose, your mer human pose. And just slowly settle everything down, including the breath. Letting go of a sigh whenever you feel like you need to release some excess heat, some excess tension. You're ready to press your way back upright. Take your time to sit up nice and tall. Beautiful work, yogis. We're going to do a cow face pose after this. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit over to the right. Left leg comes up and over until we can get that left knee somewhat stacked over the right. So I'll turn towards you a little bit. So you can see I'm trying to get my left knee on top of my right knee. And it doesn't have to be perfectly stacked. Sometimes our calves get in the way. Sometimes some excess muscle and skin gets in the way. It's all good. Just take your time to arrive in your cow face. It's more for the shoulders right now, so much so than it is for the legs because we just did a big hip stretch. So, can you take your right hand and pat yourself on the back? Take your left hand and grab for those fingertips. Cool. If you can't grab for the fingertips, grab for your shirt, make a connection, or grab for a towel in between your hands. Make it work. You've got this. And just sit up nice and tall. Stay calm. Lean your head back into that right arm. Feel that stretch a little bit deeper. Steadiest breath in. And the steadiest breath out. One more inhale. Exhale, unwind this right arm. Give it a little roll, maybe let it go. Unroll the left, roll the shoulders out. And then we're going to do something a little bit different. Since our left leg's on top, we're going to step our left foot out wide and we're going to push back into a lizard lunge. So we're going to tuck our back right toes until we're ready to lower the knee down. If you're ready to lower the right knee down, you don't have to. So if you want to stay inactive, just keep the knee high off the mat and keep the toes tucked. If you want to lower the knee down and untuck the toes, though, work on that maybe to your palms, maybe to forearms. Maybe you just hang out and take a quad stretch, which you can plant the right palm. Left arm grabs for that back right foot. It's kind of why I'm offering it right now is because we did some quad stuff. So I want to make sure you get a quad stretch. Harry did a lot of hips. So the lizard is intense on the left side. Yes, because you haven't done half pigeon, but it's going to make half pigeon in just a moment. So nice. All right, when you're ready, gently release that back right foot. Press both palms down. And then just simply tuck your back right toes, lift the right knee as you step the left foot back, pedal it out in your down dog. Let it go on both sides. Whew. Notice the difference between the two sides, too. Where do you feel it more in your hip or your quad? Nice. And then as you're ready, left leg goes high. Left knee behind left wrist. Foot kicks over towards the right wrist. Hold and hover. Maybe use that core strength to lift that shin a little bit higher. And then exhale, lower it all back down. Make sure your right toes are straight back behind you. Find that nice little balance. And then if you want to fold forward, go for it. If you want your mer creature pose upright to go for the quad stretch here, you can take it, but that's up to you. I like to fold my pigeon because it helps me to relax. Otherwise, I hold a lot of tension here. Keep holding that half pigeon pose, please. Holding that half pigeon. I'm sorry, guys. My dog is trying to destroy this toy, and I hope you can't hear it because it is oh so loud. Excuse me, I'm doing half pigeon over here, ma'am. Come here. Zoe, come here. You were going to chew this thing so loud. Hey. Why are you treating me so much? Unnecessary. Sorry, guys. Hopefully it's not too loud that my headphones are picking it up. All right, go get it. All right, when you're ready, press your way back upright. Sit over towards that left cheek. Swing that right leg up and around. And again, we're doing that cow face. So we're trying to work on stacking knees on top of knees, but we're not stressing if our knees don't exactly stack. Mine, heck, mine don't either. And your feet can be as close to the body as you want or as far away. Up to you. Now we're gonna take the left hand this time, tap ourselves, pat ourselves on the back, right? Give yourself a little congratulations, and then the right hand comes around to try to grab her fingertips or the shirt or a towel or whatever you got. Remember, as we sit up nice and tall here, maybe we close the eyes, lean the head back into that left arm. How can we appreciate how we are thriving and not just surviving? How can we shift that perspective? Yes, oftentimes many of us are just in survival mode, but when we take a moment to shift our perspective, we can find something in which we feel like we're kind of thriving. It might be something so small. It might be your yoga practice. It might be going for a walk every morning with your dog. It might be, um, I don't know, keeping your house clean or dishes out of the sink. It can be very small things that we feel like we're thriving on. Might have finished a book. It can be the smallest things, but they are so powerful. Take your time to take a steady breath in. Stay for that exhale. Then when you're ready, gently release the arms, give the shoulders a little roll. Sometimes I think it's all about just changing a little bit of perspective can make a huge difference. We don't even have to have a shift in what's going on in life. We can just kind of take a moment to be like, oh, yeah, I am doing really good about reading lots of books right now, or whatever it might be, calling and checking in on family and friends. All right, hands come forward into that lizard. Tuck the back left toes until you lower the knee down. If you want, untuck the toes. You can lower down to forearms. You can stay up on your palms or take the quad stretch, taking that right hand for that back left foot. Take another full inhale. Exhale, gently release that left foot down. Here's the fun thing. We get to step our left toes as we tuck our toes forward to make a malasana, a yogi squat. Ooh. Yeah, we're up here. Hands in the heart center for just a moment. Maybe take the backs of your hands together, give them a little shake, wiggle out the wrists, give a stretch. And then as you're ready, grab onto the outside edges of your feet. Take a look behind you. Make sure there's nothing behind you because we're going to roll back in the happy baby. This is a trust fall with yourself. How much do you trust yourself? But if you have spine issues, skip this, please. All right, when you're ready, start to roll. Woo! Trust fall with yourself. Oh, we did it. And then we're in our happy baby, a little flex of our feet. You might stretch into one leg and then the other. You might skip that. You might stretch into both legs. You might just stay still on your back, or you might rock a little bit left and right. Take your time to move through the happy baby that works for you. It's pretty versatile. And then let's take the soles of our feet together. A reclined butterfly pose. One hand to heart, one hand to belly. Take a moment to connect here to your physical body, but also your emotional, spiritual, mental aspect of you. Before we move into our rest, something I want to point out is we usually don't make great gains in life through just positive things happening. We tend to make the great gains and changes and growth in our life when something difficult, tough, sad, whatever it might be, is handed to us. And we have to grow and we're forced to move out of that situation. And that's usually where the greatest growth and gains are made in our lives. So sometimes we have to have those uncomfortable, those rough, those tough moments to go and be stronger on the other side. Often it's said in yoga, no mud, no lotus, because the lotus often grows out of very muddy, murky waters. So this beautiful flower blooms out of the muckiest, muddiest, most not the most appealing uh, situation to start in, and it becomes this beautiful flower on the surface. Maybe imagine that happening for you. When you're ready to let your arms and legs take up some space for your Shavasana, feel free to take your time to set up. I like to have palms face up. Settle my shoulders back down, let them be heavy. Big exhale, let everything go. Enjoy this rest. I'll let you know when it's time to reawaken. Now, if you would like to keep resting in your Shavasana, please continue to do so. If you want to push your way up to a meditative seat, take your time to keep the eyes closed. Seal in this focus as you just sit up crisscross applesauce cross-legged. Maybe you use your mala to take a meditation 108 times. Maybe you skip the mala, your choice. Just sitting up nice until palms can face up or face down. When you feel ready to reawaken from your Shavasana, if you're still lying down, take your time to make your way up to a comfortable cross legged seat. If you're still in your meditative cross legged seat, continue to focus and breathe. If you'd like to keep your palms resting near your knees, feel free to do so. But if you'd like to bring your palms into heart center, you can choose that as well. Knowing that where your thumbs press into your sternum and your sternum presses into your thumbs, that heart space is where that beautiful lotus blooms. And it has to come from some muddy, murky waters where things are unclear, where things can't really be seen in the moment. But then after, we can look back on that beautiful blooming flower, that beautiful blooming lotus, and know that we grew and we were able to take away from that experience strength, empowerment, love, whatever it might be. Thank you so much for taking time on your mat to show up and let yourself thrive and not just survive. I appreciate each and every one of you yogis showing up. My heart humbly bows to each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Just a reminder, Black Swan Yoga still has the donation link up on blackswanyoga.com. And all donations, 100% of them, go to the teachers. So if you select Austin, it goes to the teachers that are teaching online to help us be supported without teaching in a physical studio necessarily. So we really appreciate it. Each and all donations really do make a difference for us. So thank you. A few other things. Just take good care of yourself and Remember to just keep showing up on your mat when you feel like you can and be kind and be patient. Until I get to see you again, namaste, yogis. You guys are amazing. I'm Christine. Thanks for being patient with my Zofer baby. Miss Zozo is she's a little bit of a diva and runs this house, so I just got to keep up with her. Bye, guys.